We're back on Trojans Live. Jordan Moore, John Jackson, and the head coach for USC men's basketball, Andy Enfield. The coach has got a nice little ice cream sandwich up here from the lab, enjoying his time. The season starts Friday, though, and that's when you're ready to get down to business. Now, your fourth year in charge. You start with Montana on Friday, 8 o'clock at the Galen Center. It's the second half of a doubleheader. Women's basketball will tip things off at 5 o'clock. How was your offseason leading into all this?
Well, it's been great. Our 4 freshmen are pleasant surprises.
Yeah.
We have a transfer, Charles Buggs from Minnesota, and then another transfer, Shaquan Aaron, who sat out last year, who's ready to get going. He hasn't played a game in a year and a half, almost 2 years. And then we have our 4 returnees. So we're excited. We're a young team. We don't have a senior on the roster.
What else is new?
And haven't had that experience for a few years, but we have young, talented guys that are anxious to get going.
You know, how is that sort of balancing that, Coach? I mean, you know your team's young, but you also know they're talented. For you as a coach, how much does it test patience? I mean, you know that in order to get young guys to play or, and produce, you have to have a lot of patience as a coach.
Well, the state of college basketball, you have a lot of transfers, and you also have a lot of guys leave early for the draft. So we had our 2 projected seniors, Julian Jacobs and Nick Ivanovic, leave early. And they are now in the D-League, or projected to be in the D-League now. So they were going to be our first 2 seniors that were going to be big parts of our rotation in a few years. So since we don't have them, we have to move on and play the returnees and the 4 freshmen. So it's just the nature of a college basketball right now, and you have to adjust. You have to try to plan for it as best you can as a coaching staff and as a program. But when things happen unexpectedly, then you have to move on and just do the best you can.
You do have a lot of young players across the board, but how much of a comfort is it for a head coach to have a third-year starter, a point guard, and somebody as heady as Jordan McLaughlin to be running your offense?
Well, Jordan's an outstanding basketball player. It's his first off-season where he didn't have shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
He had 2 surgeries last year and the year before 1. So he's had 3 shoulder surgeries. This year he's been injury-free. He had a terrific sophomore season, led us in scoring again. He is just playing out, you watch him in practice and you want more because he's making so many good plays. He's had over double-digit assists in both our scrimmages, and he's ready to go for his junior year.
You know, what is it about Jordan? I mean, I know he's getting better year after year because he's older and getting used to the system. But in your, from when he arrived on campus to now, what's been his biggest area of improvement?
His leadership and his playmaking ability. And he's getting stronger. He improved his shooting from his freshman and sophomore year. He shot 42% from the three-point line last year, which is great. So he's improved all areas of his game. Defensively, led us in steals. So when you have a guy that can average 5 assists, you lead you in scoring and lead you in steals, and be a captain, that's pretty special.
And you had those 2 talented freshmen last year in Benny Boatwright and Chimezi Metu. They got great experience. How have their offenses off seasons been, and where have they developed their games and bodies the most?
Chimezi's gained a few pounds of muscle, which was needed, and he'll play at over 220 this year. I think he came in the door about 205, and last year was an adjustment for him. He had spectacular games, and then he would have inconsistency because he had so much foul trouble. It wasn't because we didn't want to play him, but he played about 18 minutes a game in a Pac-12, but he averaged 4.5 fouls a game. So we need him to stay out of foul trouble, and we're going to rely on Chimezi and Benny, as you mentioned, every single night. Benny Boatwright is a terrific shooter, as everyone knows. He led us in 3-point shots made at 6'10", so he really stretches the floor as a big man. He's working on other parts of his game, his defense, his rebounding, and his playmaking ability. So we have to rely on Chimezi and Benny on a nightly basis, but that's what they came here for. They came here to develop as players and be the reason why USC basketball is successful.
Coach, for your vision of where USC basketball is going to go, I mean, you've made tremendous strides so far in terms of the perception. I mean, it's respectable. Now the kids, even when they come in to interview with us, they talk confident, like they're going to win, which is obviously, starts with what you've been able to establish in them. How do you feel in terms of where the program is at now and where it's going?
We love our kids. We have excellent students, student athletes. They get involved in the community on campus. And they're really good basketball players. They're fun to watch. They set school records last year in block shots. They were top 20 in scoring in the nation, top 15 in how fast they played from a pace of play. They set school records in 3-point shots made. Started school record 15-0 at home to start the season. Had sellouts at the Galen Center for the first time in many years. So we feel great about our players, and it's a credit to them because they decided to come here and make a difference and build a program, and they've done that. And now it's time to take it to the next level. Made the NCAA tournament last year and competed and beat a lot of good teams around, and we ranked the top 25 in the nation first time in a few years. So there were a lot of firsts last season. However, our goal is to try to compete for Pac-12 and national championships and sustain the success. And now it's a big year for our hoops program. We'll see if we can do it.
Yeah, as you said, it's a big year, and the only thing that people are saying about this team is depth. They're just wondering, where you're going to go once you get past those sort of core four players that everybody knows. How far into the season does it take you to figure out what you've got, and where you want to be in a rotation, and how long does it take you to figure things like that out?
I guess the biggest factor as far as rotation is Charles Buggs. He's been injured. He had arthroscopic knee surgery in September, and he's just coming back in. But he's a physical specimen at 6'9", about 235, great athlete. So as we work him back into rotation, he learns our system because he wasn't here the last couple of years. He just new as a grad transfer. So we feel really good about the other players because they'll all play, all have a chance to play minutes and do their thing. So we'll probably narrow down a rotation definitely by the conference starts in late December. But our out-of-conference games are extremely important as well.
Yep. And it all starts on Friday. Trojan Athletic Fund members, use your Ultimate Sports Card for free admission for 2 tickets to USC versus men's basketball versus Omaha. That's this Sunday's game at Galen Center. That tips at 4 o'clock for everybody. USCTrojans.com/tickets. Hey, last year this team dominated at Galen Center. They put on a great product, so you're going to want to be a part of it and create that home court advantage that Coach is looking for. Tickets for Friday's opener on November 11th, 11/11, are just $11.11. How about that? Thank you, Coach. Good luck this season. We'll be checking in with you throughout, no doubt about it. When we come back, we're going to get back into football. T2's calling in. Terrell Thomas is next on Trojans Live.